So a lot of people ask me, how do you get ideas for pitches? It's a big question that comes up pretty frequently because pitching is so important to the freelance experience, and you need to be able to know how to do a good pitch. So getting ideas for a pitch can be tricky. But here I'm going to walk you through a real quick example of one method of getting ideas that you can turn into article ideas to pitch. So I'm going to start by just picking a gaming site and seeing what kind of news stuff is going on. Here's Polygon. You could check out IGN, you could check out The Escapist, you could check out any other gaming site. Pick your favorite place and see what's happening in the news. So then what I'll do is I'll scan the day's posts and just kind of see what kind of stuff is happening and try to find a way to spin that off into a potential story. I've already spent a little bit of time looking at these, but what you do just you can scan different things and kind of see if anything catches your eye. There's one post in particular that caught me earlier when I was reading, and let's scroll right down to it so I can show you. Okay, so here's an example. Adventure Time creator conducts crowd-driven adventure game on Twitter. This grabbed me right off the bat because it's such a unique, unusual thing that it was immediately like, okay, I have to click and see what this is about. So that's a good sign if you're immediately drawn to something and you want to read more about it, that you might have, it could be potential something to explore for to get ideas from. So I just did a quick browse of the piece, and the gist of the story is Adventure Time creator guy here, Pendleton Ward, he basically conducted a sort of a hand-drawn adventure game on Twitter called Quest Attack. And what he did was, from what I can tell, just quickly reading through, posted kind of drawings of scenes on Twitter, like in the dungeons or in different areas, and then would interact with people on Twitter and his followers to get commands on what to do next. And then he would kind of spawn out the next picture and then what happened. And I guess he paused it too, like when he wasn't available, he'd stop doing it and then resume the next time he was on. So right off the bat, that's just different and unique and interesting. And that's the kind of thing you want to look for, like, wow, this could be a great story. There's different challenges you might run into trying to put the story together, but that's a good place to start for an idea. So how could you spin this out into a story? I think the fact, it's a news item, so it's certainly newsworthy, but you could also kind of dig deeper. And I think with most pitches that you want to put together, the idea is to dig deeper and find a bigger picture story you can pitch. So a very simple, basic way would be to pitch a story about how did this happen? How did he put it together? You can get in touch with Pendleton and see if you could set up an interview. But one of the things you might pitch to a publication would be like sort of a behind the scenes thing. Like, okay, here's this thing that happened that was really interesting. How did he get the idea? How did it go? Like, explain the process. Like, you want to dig deeper and kind of get the behind the scenes. Like, this is such a unique and unusual thing. Like, where did he get the idea to do this? And then you could get his take on how it went and how he had fun doing it, or what his thought process was behind that. And then you could even dig further and grab Twitter responses from people, or get in touch with some of his fans on Twitter to see what they thought of it, and get their take on from a player perspective. So it's sort of a straightforward piece, and there's not a lot of angle things you have to mess around with, but this would be something I would say, oh, here's a cool news item. This is a great idea for a feature. So let me come up with a pitch and see if I can, first make contact and see if it's possible to set up an interview, or if there's even a way to reach Pendleton. Obviously he's got a Twitter account, so maybe you could ping him on Twitter. That's kind of how that works sometimes. Or, if check out if you had a website and dig around, and then put up a pitch together, send that out and see if you can get a bite. And if you get a bite, then you follow through and set up the interview and put the piece together. But it's just a real simple, here's news item, and this could be a really good bigger picture story. It could go deeper on this than the news post. So anyway, that's just a quick example. In one of my next videos, I will kind of dig deeper into another couple different ways that you can look for story ideas as you go. Thanks a bunch.